Legion of Collectors, the new subscription box service from Funko, has just come out, and we are comparing it today to the debut box of Marvel Collector Corps. The boxes themselves look a little bit different in appearance, inside and outside. The inside features comic book artwork, but one's a little bit different from the other one, featuring bubbles and lines and things where the other's not. DC is blue, where Marvel is in red. Both boxes come with a patch and pin just under the lid of the box, and both sets seem to have the look or the appearance of sort of an older time period to them, which is kind of neat from the older original comics. Both boxes come with a shirt, and both, interestingly enough, are styled after matches, kind of like a box match, where it's someone versus someone, in this case Batman versus Superman, where it was Ultron versus one of the heroes of the Avengers in the Marvel Collector Corps, which is a little bit different from the pop tees that we have recently been seeing in the subscription box services. The biggest difference between the two shirts is that we had a choice between 4 different styles in Marvel Collector Corps debut, whereas DC gives us just the one style, Batman vs Superman, just in baby blue. This one comes in Spanish, where the other one was in English. Also in this box are Dorbz, which are fantastic and adorable. This one is a 2-pack, which is the first time that we've seen that. There was a Dorbz also in the debut of Marvel Collector Corps. It was Ultron. You can see the original packaging that they had for Dorbz, which kind of made it look like a blind box. There was a lot of people asking, is this a blind, is it not? But it actually wasn't. It was just Ultron for every box. The product was later improved by adding a window, which made them a lot more attractive and a lot less confusing, honestly. These Dorbz come in a full single color in the DC box and are packaged very well. They come clipped together to prevent them from spilling or tipping out, which is less of a concern with the single Dorbz. Aquaman is seen here in aqua, obviously, and he's a really attractive Dorbz. It looks like this is sort of the evolution of Dorbz. He has a lot more texture, a lot more detail in and around his face. They have him holding a trident, which is really interesting, and I think this is just a step up. We saw a little bit of a change with the Deadpool as well in the last box, where he had a little bit more detailing. He has a hat and a horse that he's holding onto, and something just more than the simplicity of their previous ones. Superman is a little bit more basic, but even he has more texture in the hair, and he's got a cape on, something more than just what we saw in their previous figures. Superman comes in Krypton green, which I think is a really neat feature. It really makes him stand out, in my opinion. We have the 3 of them together here as a comparison, and you can really see the difference between the old Dorbz versus the new ones. The Ultron figure looks fairly unappealing, sadly, and they could have just done so much more with the texture and the detailing in the head. Give him some depressions, more like how the movie figure looked. Hollow cheekbones, more detailing like they do with the hair now. It just would have been a lot more appealing. This one almost looks like he's wearing glasses. It's just all a little odd looking, to be honest. Both debut boxes came with a comic book, and both are done in kind of comic booky artwork instead of the pop artwork that we've been seeing lately, which didn't show up until Secret Wars. The biggest difference we see between the two comics is that the Avengers did not come sleeved, whereas the Batman and Superman does, and all the comics do now, with the fans having put up enough of a stink about it. Avengers received a variant cover for their first edition, whereas the DC Batman vs Superman had a variant cover for their 5th one. This is not the first time, though, that we've seen them not pick the first one. We saw it also with the Ant-Man, which seems kind of an odd choice. I don't know why they would, if they're going to do a variant cover, retroactively do it to the first comic book, but that's just my opinion. Here we get a look at the pop figure that came in the DC box. Both boxes obviously came with an exclusive pop, arguably the most popular part of these boxes. Taking a look at the stickers on the front, we see the DC Legion of Collectors sticker, which is pretty attractive. The Marvel Collector Corps, I feel, wasn't as attractive, and it changed multiple times throughout the history of the box so far. The second one was similar, but then it just switched to saying exclusive, which was really disappointing and not attractive at all. And then we got the latest one with Deadpool, which hopefully is the one that they're going to stick with now because it's fairly appealing. I don't know why they've switched it so many times, but we're hoping, at least I'm hoping, that the one for the DC Comics, Legion of Collectors, will stay consistent throughout the service. Here we see the packaging that Armored Batman came in. It's done very well. It comes clipped together at the top to protect him, keep him from bouncing or falling out, which is very nice. And the figure itself is beautiful. It's really a breathtaking figure. It's done in sort of a gunmetal gray silver. It has kind of a yellow gold for the highlights or the accents, and then the cape, which comes in a different color as well. It's kind of more of a pewter, and it's just very, very nice. I really like it. It has a lot of detailing in the armor, in the front, in the hands, the gloves. Pretty much everything is very, very detailed. It is not a bobblehead, this pop, it's just static. Funko surprised us by giving Armored Batman a foam mask or helmet in this one, which I think is a very odd choice. It gives it sort of a matte finish and interesting texture, but it does not, in my opinion, look like heavy armor that we see in the movie and that we saw in the Hulkbuster. Here we have some up-close shots of the Armored Batman and detailing that we really see in the armor. This really is a fantastic pop, and it's the reason I bought this box. He's amazing, but when you compare it to something like the Hulkbuster, which we saw with the debut of Collector Corps, the differences are pretty extreme. The detailing in the Hulkbuster is just phenomenal, and there's so much to it. You could see this figure on a shelf from across the room and your jaw would just drop. I mean, it's breathtaking, it's beautiful, it's done very well. And to stand it side by side next to Armored Batman, they both look amazing, but the Batman doesn't stand out. He's the same size as regular pop figures are, and he's not gonna, in my opinion, really stand out or really pop, I should say, in a display. Whereas Hulkbuster, you see him, he is definitely going to catch your eye, he's going to catch your attention immediately. I think they probably should have made Armored Batman larger, maybe even the same size as Hulkbuster. Even though they're not the same size in movies, obviously, I think fans would have been okay with it. So that's it. Both boxes came with a variant cover comic book. They both came with a t-shirt, they both came with Dorbz, and then they both came with an exclusive pop figure. The differences are that Marvel Collector Corps came with one Dorbz and a large pop, whereas the DC box came with a smaller pop and two Dorbz. And that's about it. So what do you guys think? Who did it better and why? Let us know. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.